Okay, before we start my show, I've got a few rules. Rule 1. When you make a comment, please make it, sound at least a little bit intelligent, and let it make sense, because I can gladly make you look like a jackass, if need be. So, might want to watch, the stupidity meter on my comments, because I can make you look like an ass. And if you doubt it, try me. Rule 2, and the only other rule, is that if you do disagree with me, at least go about doing it in an intelligent manner. Don't degrade your intelligence by, babbling on about absolutely nothing that makes sense. It kind of ties in with the jackass thing, but if you do manage to make sense, don't, ruin it by, disgracing your vocabulary. In that sense, please, don't do this. First episode's going to be about teen bullies and suicide. The thing about it is, it's not the bully's fault the kid kills themselves, it's the parents. I personally was bullied, when I was in school. But the thing about it was, there was other factors at home that really made the big difference. The parents on all these cases are just like the parents who blame the video games and music. They point their finger at something else to avoid the truth, basically meaning themselves. They fucked up. I mean, honestly, if you had a child and you fucked up, would you come out and say it on television? I think not. But the thing about it is, it's really, pathetic that they can't just admit it. Adults are always saying, hey, take responsibility for your actions. You can't take responsibility that you fucked up with your child. So how the fuck are you supposed to sit there and tell us? Honestly. I'm 17. But the thing about it is, I'm probably more bright than most adults think. That's the thing. A lot of old, adults look at me in particular. I don't know about other people. I'm sure there's more people that, go through this as well. But, they look at us and, they're like, oh, he's just a kid. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But we know more than what you think we know. I mean, there's a big difference in your guys' generation and ours. We're getting more educated, sooner about things. It's not necessarily that you guys were dumb when you were our age. It's just that you weren't as exposed to information as we are now. I mean, you can go on the internet and look up at just about anything. So it's not necessarily that they're just completely stupid, but I do strongly disagree how much older people think us as, young adults are so stupid because we know absolutely nothing about how the world is. But we've been exposed to it more so than you were when you were our age. So the comparison isn't really necessary in my opinion. It's just there's no point in it, and I really wish they they would kind of quit doing that. I mean, it would help a lot that they would quit categorizing us as stupid. But back to the point, bullies and suicide. The thing about that is bullies, they do have a part in it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting bullies off as not the cause. That just promotes it, though. That just kind of adds on. When a parent doesn't emphasize the importance of a child's life, or doesn't show as much affection in the home, it doesn't it's not much. There's not much you can really say to that sums it up right there. That's the problem. There's not enough love being shown. You're not establishing at a young age, especially. You should. That's like a vital part all the way till they're, even after, even till they're 18. Putting your child off and not really paying attention. I mean, that's the thing. You have to pay attention. That's very important that you pay attention to your child. Working, I understand you have to make a living because, let's face it, raising kids ain't cheap. Fuck, I know that. I don't even have a kid and I know this shit. I know I'm an expensive little fucker. But I mean, it's just like, money isn't everything to a child. I mean, you can't just give your child like $100 each week and, you know, say, here, be happy. Because, I mean, maybe in some way there is that happiness, but the thing about it is it's short term. It's not sentimental. It's not a strong foundation for happiness. Money does not buy happiness. Maybe for short periods of time, but it doesn't long lasting. You know, and that's the thing. You have to show it. You can't just, you know, give money and, you know, think that's showing love, because it's not. Your child to be just, you know, happy-go-lucky all the time. I mean, hey, a child, you know, people, everyone likes being heard, likes hearing, you know, they matter, that their life is, you know, significant to somebody else. But that's the thing. The kids aren't being, you know, shown this. And it's really funny how just all these people can just point their fingers at everything else. Music, that's why my son hung himself. Video games, that's why my son killed everyone out of school. You know, other kids, that's why my kid killed himself. Honestly, I mean, that's common with every single person. Everyone gets bullied at one point in time or another. That's the thing you guys don't understand. You need to fucking get your head out of your ass and, you know, obviously parent. Don't sit there and say bullshit like, I tried so hard. Obviously you didn't. You fucked up. You dropped the ball. Admit it. It's not a kid's fault that your kid killed himself. It's not a fucking song by Marilyn Manson who killed your son. It wasn't Grand Theft Auto that made your son get, like, life in prison. It's not. So, honestly, just take your head out of your ass and just look. You know, I mean, it's... Parents just don't really see a lot of things that are different in our time era compared to theirs. You know, there's a big difference. But I think one thing I will emphasize the most on is, you know, how parenting is. You know, I'm not a parent, but, you know, something I've learned a lot from my parents' mistakes. You know, I've learned a lot. My parents fucked up with me big time, but, you know, I fucked up too. I just kind of followed with it. But, you know, it's our decision to get out of that. But anyway, back to the point. You know, parents, the way they parent sometimes just doesn't make sense. Like, you know, some parents don't let their children hang out with, you know, people of different religions, especially in their teenage years. My best friend is an atheist, and you know who you are because you're probably watching it, you fat bastard. Anyway, you know, my best friend was an atheist at one time. And, you know, my father, you know, he didn't know this until later on. And then when he found this out, he just flipped the fuck out. He was, you know, trying to send me off because I was an evil, you know, seed or some shit. You know, the thing about it is they say it's because, you know, they don't want that idea in their child's mind. The thing about it is that regardless if your child hangs out with an atheist or not, it doesn't matter. That thought will come across your child's mind. Whether or not they want to stick with it is their choice. You can't choose your child's religion. You can sit there and, you know, holy roll all day. Hey, we believe in God one time of the week, and then we'll go treat everyone like shit. And then try to sit there and say, my child can't hang out with your child because your child doesn't believe in what we believe. Honestly, that's what's really pissing me off about religions. I'm not an atheist, nor am I a Christian. I'm agnostic. I have my own belief. So when people ask me religious preference, I'm not anywhere in the middle of anything. But my thing is, you know, parents just don't understand. Their logic just doesn't make sense. To me, anyway. Maybe I'm just the dumbass in this, you know, crazy world. But would it make sense to, you know, my child can't hang out with your child because he doesn't believe what I believe in? Honestly, does that make any sense? You know, regardless of what my father said, you know, my best friend is still my best friend. I talk to him every day. My mom has not one single bad thing to say about him. My dad thought he was so evil just because he was an atheist. My friend doesn't do drugs. He doesn't drink. He doesn't get into trouble. He's, you know, just chilled. But that's the thing. Parents just automatically stereotype. And they do that bullshit, you know, well, it's a bad impression on everyone. There is no damn impression. Honestly. When we get in the corporal world, you know, business standards change. You cannot refuse to hire somebody because of their religion. You can't say, oh, you're an atheist, so you can't be hired. That makes no damn sense. You know, hopefully, you know, our era, our generation, will bring in light and more logic into the next. Unfortunately, as far as us guys go, most of us are getting bashed on because most of us are just making bastard babies. And sadly, that is true. I am not going to be that way. All I can do is just make my difference in the world. Anyway, hopefully our generation doesn't get overran by bastard babies or, molested by Catholic priests, but that's beside the point. So thanks for watching, and remember, wrap it before you tap it.
I wanna sledge up through and fuck the wound. Wanna push my face in and feel the